So in today's session, we're going to follow on from the last video that I did where I created a techno pattern from the Raw Techno Pack that I released. But this time, we're going to do something a bit more broken beat or a bit more electro. I'm not sure what kind of electro I'm going to make yet. I'm just going to go with the flow and see what happens. Probably something distorted, which is what I always do. But maybe we'll go down the classic electro route. But we'll see. Right, so let's get stuck in. So the first thing I'm going to do is just check the tempo. So I've already got this on 140. I'm going to leave it there. And then I'm going to set about just placing a snare drum to start with. And then we can build the kick pattern around the snare drum. So let's go into source and go down to an empty slot. And then we'll go into the Raw Techno Pack. Drum one shots, snares. I know that there isn't any kind of like classic electro snares in this pack. I mean, that one could work. Let me just turn this up a little bit for me. There we go. And 7 works quite nicely. What I'm going to do is start with 1, and then we'll build the kick drum around that, and then we'll come back and maybe swap out the snare for another one. So we're not going for like a classic electro 606 snare sound, but that's fine. So sometimes you can make electro with different styles of samples anyway. So let's just go for the classic to start with, something like that maybe. And go into an empty slot again, and then we'll choose a kick drum for this. Bass drum. Actually, I'm in the wrong one there. I'm actually in a 808 pack there, which would have been quite nice actually. But we're going to go into the techno one. So drum one shots, let's just stop that a second. Kicks. 1 works. That's quite nice actually. Let's go down the others. And let's just open this release as well. Just in case there's any long kicks in there, we can get a tail. These are quite nice. If you want to put a bass line in between, but I kind of like 1. I think I might go for kick 1. And before we continue, actually, I'm probably going to go for 1, but before we continue, let me just go into Ableton and change my settings because fins have been left on 2048 samples from when I was finishing off quite a dense mix with a lot of VSTs. So let me just put that back. It's going to be a bit more immediate. Let's just go for this kick. I like this kick. And now we've got that in, let's go to the snare drum and just swap that out. Whoops. Four works quite nicely. Yeah, we'll go for 7. And let's just dirty things up a bit more as well, like add some drive or a lot of drive. Let's get this reverb set up for the snare. So if I go into send effects and we go down to reverb, let me just do it like that. So I'll add quite a bit of pre-delay there, so it separates the reverb from the snare. So we're just dampening it there with the shelf. And then we've got a little bit too much reverb, so I'm just going to go back into the effects on the snare and just bring that reverb down. That's better. Right, let's get some hats in now. So I'm going to go to 6. Let's just put them on like that to start with. Let's just stop that a second. So let's go Raw Techno, drum one shots, hats. 1 might work quite nicely, but I might go through and try and find an open hat. That's quite good, that one. I have this thing where I have to go through every sample. I always do this. Thankfully, my packs are only like 25 to 30 samples in each one. That's quite a nice one. Let me just go back up. Yeah, I kind of like 20 more than that one. Actually, let's just go for 20. And then what I'm going to do is that open one. Let's try and find that. That one there. I'm going to try and load that up onto... let's have a look. How do I do this again? I haven't used the Digitakt in over a month now. Because I explained this in the last video. I've just been working on mix downs for other tracks. So I'm a bit rusty at the moment. So Project RAM, that's what we want to do. We want to go to Project RAM. Oh no, not Project RAM. I lie. It's not Project RAM. So now we've got our single hit hats. What I want to do next is go and find that open one. So let's just go to another empty slot and go to the drum one shots again. Hats, I think it was, yeah, 4. Let's just put that on a slot. And then what I can do is I can basically lock that. So yeah, that works. There we go, let's copy that one. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I am going to just, before I do that, I'm just going to see if there's any ghost notes that need placing in. So what we can do is we can kind of kind of like just the 1 on the 10 there. So what I'm going to do now is open this up, but what I want to do first actually is it function? Yes, so that each track can have its own independent length. And then for this one, I'm just going to make it 4 bars long. On the very last one, I'm going to change the 13 to that open hi-hat, which is this one here. Oh, we're stuck actually, so let me just go in and adjust these. So change and reset, I want them both on 64. Let's turn this up a bit. Let's try it there. Put one there as well, maybe. Let's try that. That's quite cool. Maybe on them as well, what we'll do is we will add a bit of reverb, maybe? Chorus. Let's try that. No, not that. Bit of delay. Yeah, let's take that off. I'm not bothered about that. Let's just add a bit of, tiny bit of reverb to the hats. Nice. Right, so let's now just make sure these are open as well, like on the amp, so they're the open ones. That's good. Right, I want to dirty up this kick drum a bit maybe, so let's just... Around there is quite nice. Now just mess around with the other mixes. So let's just turn the snare up a bit. get a nice mix going. And while we're here, what I might do is just take a look at the drive. So with this kind of Electro, I really do like to boost the bus drive up quite considerably. So I'm going to turn down the pattern volume. Or I could do that. So yeah, I'll turn pattern volume down. That's quite nice there. Now I think we need a bass line now, so let's maybe try going into one of these tracks. So we'll go 5, put it on 5. Actually, we'll go 9. So we'll put kick and bass on 1 and 9. And then, again, we're using samples, obviously. So let's go to an empty slot. So for this, what I'm thinking is we find a bass loop and then we kind of like chop it up maybe. So what I'm doing is I'm just gonna go through and find something that sounds quite nice or something that I can work with. Looking for something with a longer note. That's quite cool, that one. So a lot of these are quite filtered and dubby already. That's cool. Right, so what we can do is, I'm going to take that one. So let's load that one up onto this sample track, and what I'm going to do is just basically just mess with it. So like take a part of it, maybe I'll pitch it down as well, which will slow it down. So if we go to amp settings, let's try and work out how we're going to do this. So note length 116. Then if we go to amp settings, I'm going to change this mode here to the AHD, and then I'm going to bring the decay down. So what should happen is we just get these 16ths now. That's quite cool already, so let's go there. Lost that now. Add a bit of distortion to it. Maybe I need to go up a... Tell you what I might do. Let's go nuts with this, right? So what I'm gonna do is go to the kick, and I'm just gonna take out these hits here, so them ones, so it doesn't overlap. That sounds quite cool actually. But what I was gonna do is I was gonna hit the live record mode quantized, and then just mess with it like this. See if we can get something interesting going. Out of that a second, go up and Rother. Gonna take a little bit more messing to get something, I reckon, but we'll get there. Go to the amp settings again. That's quite cool, a bit off kilter. Again, I'm just recording stuff in. Let's go to the filter now. The best stuff always comes, I think, when on these Electron boxes, when you just do live quantized mode and you just kind of go for it and see what happens, and then keep re-recording stuff. Let's see what other filter types we've got in here. So I don't usually change these out that much, but I've completely forgot how to do that now because I haven't been on this machine in quite a while. Right, so it's on here. There we go. I don't know what happened there. Right, we could try. So a multi-mode. We could try the low pass 4, which is like a steeper one, or we could try a comb filter. Get really weird. Kind of weird, it's not where I want it to be yet, but let's just keep playing around. It feels like going for like a low pass filter is the easy option, but I kind of want to keep pushing this a little bit just to see if we can get something weird. So if you bear with me, I'm sure we can get somewhere, get to somewhere that's really unique sounding. Gotta keep going. So I like that bit. That bit. Maybe it's just a case of going in. I lost that note that I had. There it is. So I'm not worrying too much about having everything tuned perfectly. Obviously, when you're using a comb filter, you're actually creating notes essentially by using very fast kind of like delay feedback, and that's creating a note. So everything's a little bit wonky just because of the way that I move the frequency, and that's fine because it reminds me of like using old analog synths or modular synths, and you get that kind of wonkiness out of it. So don't be too constrained to just kind of like trying to get everything perfectly in tune. Where this might fall apart is when you start trying to bring like some pads in that are perfectly tuned. So you might have to start tuning other elements by ear. That's what I found when I work like this. Maybe we'll go with that, that's quite cool. So that's actually locked, right? Yeah, that's locked. I'm not sure whether to, let's just save this a second. This is where it gets tricky because I want to start messing around, but then I don't want to lose what I've got. So I'm just going to save that so I can revert if need to. I can also copy and paste the pattern, but I don't like to do that too much because then you're just kind of like creating loads of different versions. So what I might do is just go into the live record quantize mode, hold no and just hold that down to erase the locks. because I want to explore this. Let's try this one now. We'll just revert back. And we can add some LFOs in as well. So maybe like what we'll do is add, I can't get to the top one, there we go. Add some random LFOs. So we'll go random. What I always do is slow this right down. It's a trick that I just do all the time. I love doing this. And then we're able to create some random stepped LFOs. So each trig will be different every single time. And it just adds a bit more inconsistency to it. So if I add it to, say, the tuning. You can hear every step has a different tuning. And if I kind of do this, you can hear it moving every time there. What I'm going to do is use this on some of the fins that we've already programmed. So I might use it on the, let's go down, the SSR, so sample rate reduction. So constantly got some movement going on there. Copy this LFO page, paste it there, and try some different ones out. So you can do like panning as well. Wonder what it's like on the comb. Yeah, we'll leave that off. Let's go back to the comb now. And I noticed that some of these have like a lower feedback. So I just want to see what it sounds like if we increase that feedback. Or even just turn it off completely. We can also make use of the bits and width filter as well. Just to get more control over the frequencies, because everything's quite upfront and open at the minute. So what we could do, that sounds quite nice like there. That's better. So just making some of it a little bit dubbier. Obviously we turn these two to post. Leave that as it is. Let's send the two bleeps, so this one and these two, let's send them to the delay. So I'm realizing that we've spent quite a lot of time on this, this one sound, but that's fine. I think there's some really good tips in here. Maybe something shorter. Maybe we've got really short. Yeah, I think we'll leave them out actually for now. I'm not too bothered about adding delay to that. Maybe let's move on to some other sounds now, and we can always come back to this. Let's just check that master drive as well. So yeah, I'm just going to clean that up a little bit now because we've obviously got more energy going in there with the bass. We don't want to kind of clog that up too much. So let's now take a look at just what we've got already, like the kick and everything. Just make sure we've got things where we want them to be. Just turn the bass down a little bit. So I'm just going to bring this level down a little bit. And then with the kick as well, I'm going to sidechain it using a compressor. So the kick's kind of lacking in volume at the minute. I'm going to bring that up a little bit. I've just realised, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong, I'm looking at my screen on Perc, and I've just realised I'm on the wrong page on the Digitakt, so I'm just essentially turning up this, and I apologise for that. So let me just get this kick on the line. You can't see what's going on my Ableton, but I was just looking at a graph. And then I'm going to mute that, and then I'm going to go to the amp settings of track 9, and we're just going to have a listen to that again. Have I just, yes. I think I've just fucking cleared that. I know I've changed the pattern. Let me go back. There we go. Right. So I'm just bringing this down so it sits under the line on my Perc. Just to get a nice balance going. Snare's nice, that's where it needs to be. That's a better mix. Right, let's go into the compressor settings now. So what we're going to do now is just look at the compressor settings. So I'm going to go into compressor routing. Compressor routing, I just want to, for now, I just want to send the bass line into the compressor. And then if we go to the compressor sidechain, it's coming from track 1. So when the kick hits, it pushes down like this. And it's just pushing down on the bass. And you can hear that. Obviously, it's not pushing down on the effects, but we might also do that as well. So if we want the release quite low, so it takes the shape of the kick, and then we want the attack quite fast as well. So attack and release quite fast. And just make sure that your sidechain filter is open so it's taking in the low end as well, the sub frequencies. And if you was working with a loop, you could do that, and it would just listen to the low end. That's much better. And let's just go to the compressor settings again. Compressor routing, see what it sounds like with the effects going through that. Nah, that doesn't work. Let's go back to the kick now. What I'm going to try and do now we've got it kind of going, is just see what it sounds like with a different kick. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep this kick, it works. Right, so now we've got that in, let's think about what else we could add to this. Maybe like a top melodic line maybe, or some sort of pad, or maybe just some of the like percussive loops that I've got in here as well. So like the texture loops. Let's have a look at that. Just put it on track 5. So obviously we're working at 140 BPM, so these loops are going to be out of time because they're recorded at 133. But we could still use them as a sound source, or we could try and stretch them. So I'm going to start from the top of the pack this time. What I'm going to do is choose something and then just make it work. That could work quite nicely. Let's bring that in. And we'll do the same technique, so we'll make a 16th pattern with it. Let's just take everything else out. And then we could do the same thing where, so we go quantized, change the start. Let's put some reverses in there as well, and some loops and stuff. Make it nice and short. So we kind of created like a glitchy shaker out of it. Send it into the delay, but with a short time. Get that electro vibe going. Yeah, I like that. The sound of a chip pan, that's what it is. That's cool. Bring it down a bit. Maybe we could send this into the compressor as well. So I'm going to go compressor route in. That's better. So just taking off that delay a little bit, and also I might just pull back on the feedback. That's better. Let's take a look at the swing. Make it really swing. I think we need some percussive sounds now. I know the bass line's doing quite a lot at the moment, but let's see if we can bring in some sounds. So at this point, actually, because of the way I've got my studio set up now, I've got loads of like outboard gear as well, but I'm just trying to keep this all in the Digitakt II. And I'll do some other sessions soon where we create something initially on one of the boxes and then we send it through modular, through a feedback distortion. I feel like this now could do with some of that. Because it's enough as it is, and then I can build a track around that, add like a vocal and stuff on the Hodge track. But what I'm going to do is, yeah, I'm just going to kind of see if we can bulk it out a bit with some percussion. So let's just, actually, I need to go into one shots. That's cool. Bring that in. Just like a little effect sound. I like this, so let's maybe track length 32 and then just decide whether we want to put it on the second page or the first page. Yeah, second. That's cool. So what I want to do is just make sure we got this right. I like the tail, but I just want to tailor it off a little bit. Let's see if we can find a good length for it. So actually I need to just come out of that and go like this. That's cool. And then what I'm going to do is just go into this and take some of the lower end out. See, that just like adding a little sound in there just gives it more call and response and makes the whole pattern more catchy. So that's the idea of just adding these extra little sounds. You've got to place them carefully and you've got to choose wisely as well. But when you add them in, it just brings more to the pattern. Now we've got some options here. I want to create some snare fills, which is something I always do. Let's just bang that in now quickly. Really quick and easy. Just put the fills in like that. Let's copy 3 and paste them in there. And then it just means so we can perform with it. Also, I might put a clap on the 5 and the 13. So let's just have a look at claps. Not sure yet. It might just be a snare drum for now. But we'll try and layer one in, see what it sounds like. So drum one shots, claps. Just choose that one for now. That works quite nicely. So what I'm going to do is just kind of layer that in. What I'm after is the tail of it. Like that. So what I'm going to do with that is, again, each time it hits, it's going to be a different filter setting. Very subtle, but it'll just give it that kind of random movement that it kind of needs to keep it interesting. So again, just bring the speed right down, turn it up just a little bit. There we go. Actually, put that back and then choose this one. Set it down a little bit. Right, let's see if we can get one more percussive sound in there. So, which tracks am I using? So I'm using these. Let's go 7. One more percussive sound. I might put some rides in as well. Drum one shots, percussion. Let's go to the bottom of the list. That might work. So again, this one will go on the second page, but I'm just gonna sort it out first. So I'm just testing these out. We'll keep it quite simple. So open that up. First page, take it off. Second page, got it on. Save it. Yeah, we'll get some rides in next. So let's get some rides in. Let's put them on the offbeat for now. Going on to an empty slot. Raw Techno. Drum one shots. Rides. Let's try that. I'm not sure yet if we want it on the offbeat or if we want to bring it back to across and have it on the beat like that. Oh, I like that one. That's got a nice tone to it, so we'll go for that. These are already quite wide anyway, I think. I might add a bit more. Go to compressor routing. Try that. That's quite cool. Maybe the key is that we need to go to this compressor. And just not have it so kind of like tight, basically too heavy. When you take that out, it allows it to breathe. Come back out of that. There we go. That's like a really nice groove now. And we could even decide at this point to move away from that if we wanted to and create something completely different away from it. I do kind of like it. But right, let's experiment a little bit though. So if we go track 9, copy. Have we got anything on track 10? No. So paste it on track 10. And then I want to copy the sequence and put it on 10. Oops, just messed up there. Paste that again. Come back out of that. I want to mute 9, so we just listen to 10. And then I want to kind of mess around with maybe changing the tuning or even changing the sound altogether. Oh, that's cool. That could add like an extra layer to the bass, so... Let's just focus in on that, right? So... That could be a nice top layer. What I want to do is get rid of most of these. That's quite cool. Let's get rid of that. So I'm just turn it down a little bit. It's a bit too loud. And also I just want to go into that filter and just bring the top end down a little bit. And then let's just check the level of this. That's better, it's just a layer. Let's have a little play around with it now. I think I'm kind of at the end of this. Obviously, I could develop it more, and there's a lot more we can do to this. We can kind of like jam it out, arrange it. We could also use some other sounds from other machines. Could bring like the Typhon in. Could bring some vocals in. We could use like the Octatrack to perform it using like the slider for the crossfader. There's just so much more I can do, but I wanted to keep this within Digitakt II for now and just show you how I would get something going, just working on one single machine before getting overwhelmed by adding extra stuff. And as I do some more videos over this year, I will start to bring in some other instruments that I've got. So I have got like the Alpha bass now, and I've got Behringer's Pro 1 and Behringer's K2 Mark II. And then you can't see it on the screen right now, but there's so much stuff to my left that's just so fun. Like Goffman's tube filter, Rabbit Hole tube filter. I've got battering ram kick now as well. Shout out to Oscar from Underdog for showcasing that. I was just massively impressed when I heard him play around with it. So yeah, there's just loads of stuff we can do, but we're trying to keep it very focused on the Digitakt II right now. And as I said before earlier in the video, with that little Sting advert, if you're interested in going deeper and learning more about these instruments, I have got a Digitakt II course, a Syntax course, Typhon course, a Hydrasynth course, and there will be more courses coming soon, as well as a flagship mixing course, which I'm kind of planning to film this year, and I'm very excited about that. So yeah, there's loads of stuff coming up. I'm super excited. But for now, let's just kind of like have a little jam with this and see what we can kind of see how it feels as we start to take things in and out. This is what I would normally do at this point before advancing. I'd kind of play around with it and see if I'm vibing with it and see if things work on their own. So, like, we know they do because we had it earlier, but does the kick, the snare, and the hat work on its own like this? And it's like, yes, that grooves nicely. Does it work well when I take the hat out and just have this one? That's a great intro right there. And these are the things I'm thinking about as I'm working on it. Like, do I actually need to have the main sounding all the time, or can I take it out and still have something substantial? That is substantial. Even with like these extra sounds as well. One thing I will say though is, like, this is a thing that comes up as well. Track 3, I'm already realizing that that sound is a little bit too much all the time. So what I'm going to do is double that up, and I'm going to take that one out and just have it on the 4th bar. And also that other sound that we come up with, which I think is on track 7, that sounded really good here, but it didn't sound good the second time round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it 4 bars also, take this one out on the 4th one, and then you've got like a longer call and response between those two sounds. There you go, it's the first one. Response. So everything's kind of calling and responding to each other. And that's the trick behind creating an infectious groove or a memorable pattern. So we can build it up really nicely. I even bring the rides in before the main bass. It's not a generic electro kind of sound, is it? It's a bit of a mix. Like, we've got a kind of like melodic techno kind of vibe going on here. That works as well on its own. So if you can jam a pattern around like this and it always sounds good, you know you're onto a winner. So it's about building it up. We've got that extra clap there as well. That even sounds a bit too much as well, so what I'm going to do is just double that up. Actually, it was fine. I lied. Pull that back. Bring these extra sounds in. Just adds a bit more grit and energy to it. Now the ride. Let's just save it. Maybe we can do like a bit of a build up. So if I go into the effects, turn these up a bit. Let's maybe mess with the main sound. Ride. Turn ride up a little bit, save it. Yeah, I'm vibing with that, that's great. Obviously, the build-up's quite hard to do when you first get into the pattern creation because you want something a bit more substantial. Like, obviously, you've seen my other videos, I use other controllers, and then you can go into some of the aspects, like going into, where is it? The mod wheel, and you can add some performance macros there and then use that on the screen itself, or you can use an external MIDI controller. That's another session altogether. What I might do is I might grab some of these sessions that we've done and take it to that next level using a MIDI controller, and we can show how we can make like this one more performable. If you'd like me to do that on one of these videos, just let me know in the comments if you're really vibing with one of these sessions, and then we can develop it. Maybe we'll even make a record out of one of them. So we could like, maybe I'll keep doing these and then maybe we can find the best one and develop that further, and then the best one out of those, then I can make a record out of it. I might even try and release it as well. So anyway, my name's James Orvis. Hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next session.